This is Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to make the summer flower doily. It can be a washcloth if you make it out of cotton yarn, or it can be a fun and cute doily for a candy dish or a candle, or even used as coasters for a wonderful garden party. Now they measure across about 8 inches, so it's a nice little size, and it's also a great way to use up a bunch of your leftover yarns and make some beautiful coasters or doilies. Now this is an older pattern that I wrote a few years ago, and so we updated the pattern, re-edited, made a bunch of new pictures, and so I thought it would be fun to make a video to go along with that. Now you can find that pattern on my blog, and I'll put that link down in the notes underneath this video. To make a flower doily for summer, you're going to need 2 different colors, one for the center and one for the outside. And I'm going to be using worsted weight number 4 yarns. These are Red Heart Super Saver in the light purple and the pink. And I'm going to be using the purple in the center and the pink for the outside. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, and this is a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. You're going to need a needle for weaving in those ends, and then you'll also need your scissors. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with our slip knot, and then we'll need to chain 5. We're going to form this chain 5 into a circle, so we'll put the tail over the hook and pull it through, and then we'll snug that down and tie that little stay knot. There we go. All right. So now we're going to put our hook through, and then we're going to chain 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. We're going to stitch 11 double crochets, so we have a total of 12 double crochets, counting our chain 3. And you'll notice I'm stitching over that tail of yarn, and that'll make it so I don't have to weave that in later. And also it will help close up that little hole in the center, because when we do a chain 5 we end up with a little hole. And if you want a little hole in your doily, that's okay, but I don't, and so I'll do it this way. And then when I'm done stitching my 12 double crochets, I'll show you how to pull that string and close up that little hole. Now it will be a little bit of a tight fit to get all 12 of these double crochets in here. All right, let's see how many I have so far. Here's my chain 3, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's 10. And 12 double crochets. All right, I'm going to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 4. And this is the way row 1 should look. Now I'm going to take my hook out and show you. If you turn it over, you can gently pull that string and close that up. And then I just go ahead and take my needle and just weave that in. I go one way, I turn and go back the other way, and I'll do the same thing a couple of times. And then that's taken care of, and I don't have to deal with that. So I have a nice closed hole, and I have my 12 double crochets and a chain 4. All right, now we're going to do row 2. Now we started with a chain 4, and this chain 4 counts as a double crochet, chain 1. So now we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet and chain 1. And we'll repeat this all the way around, stitching 1 double crochet, chain 1 in each of the double crochets. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, all the way around our circle. And since we're stitching a double crochet in each double crochet, we're going to have 12 sets of double crochet, chain 1. Whoops. There we go. Got to get it in the right spot if you want it to look right. All right, let's make sure I've got the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got my chain 1. So I'm going to join to the chain 3, not the chain 4, but to the 3rd chain with that slip stitch. So after we've joined to the chain 3, we're going to go in this first chain 1 space with a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to stitch a second double crochet in that same chain 1 space, and then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to repeat this in each of the chain 1 spaces. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets, and chain 2. Two double crochets and chain 2. We'll do this all the way around for row 3. Two double crochets, chain 2 in each of the chain 1 spaces. I've stitched 2 double crochets, chain 2 in each of the chain 1 spaces around. This is my last chain 2. I'm going to join to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. Then I'm going to slip stitch in this next chain 2 space. I'm not going to chain 3 because we're going to change colors. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn. And now I'm going to bring in the pink because that's what I'm going to use for the petal portion of our project. So I'll bring the pink in. Snug that down. That string wants to get in the way. There we go. Go right in this chain 2 space and chain 3. Now I'm going to stitch 2 more double crochets in this same chain 2 space. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to stitch 3 double crochets in this same chain 2 space. Now I'm going to chain 2, And in the next chain 2 space, I'm going to stitch 1 single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2. And what we did here, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, we'll repeat 5 more times, so we'll have 6 petals. So in the next chain 2 space, I'm going to stitch 3 double crochets, I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to stitch 3 more double crochets in the same chain 2 space. I'm going to chain 2, single crochet in the next chain 2 space, and chain 2. So now I have 2 petals beginning. And we'll continue to repeat this 4 more times so that I have 6 petals. Three double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the same chain 2 space. Chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, and again 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Chain 2, single crochet in the next chain 2 space, and chain 2. 4 petals. Now I just have to do it 2 more times. So I repeated it till I had 6 petals. There's my single crochet and my chain 2. We're going to join that to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch to that chain 2 space. There we go, and chain 3. All right, so now we're going to repeat what we did here. We're going to stitch 2 more double crochets because our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets in this same chain 2 space. But we're going to chain 3 instead of 2. So we're chaining 3. We're going to put a single crochet in the single crochet and chain 3. So this row is going to be similar to the previous row. The only difference is we're going to have chain 3 before and after where we had a chain 2. All right, so let's go to the next chain 2 space and we'll stitch 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Chain 3, single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 3. And see how that looks? All right, and we'll repeat this on the next petals. 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the same chain 2 space. Chain 3, single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 3. And we'll repeat this on these next 3 petals. So you can see that I did that next row, and we're going to do one more row. Here's my chain 3. I'm going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then we're just going to slip stitch in those next 2 double crochets just to get us back to this chain 2 space, and then we're going to chain 3. And this last row of petals is the same as the 2 previous rows. The difference is where we did chain 2 and then chain 3, we're going to have chain 4. Okay, so the corners are the same. Here's our chain 3. So I'll stitch 2 more double crochets because my chain 3 counts as a double crochet. We're going to chain 2 and place 3 double crochets in the same chain 2 space, just like we did on the previous rows. Now we're going to chain 4. We're going to single crochet in that single crochet. We're going to chain 4. And now we're going to repeat the same thing all the way around. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same chain 2 space, chain 4, single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 4. And that's the way that it will look. All right, let's keep going. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 4, single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 4, and repeat. See those 2 petals there? All right. All right, there's another petal. We just need to do these last two, and then we can put the trim on and we'll be all done. All right, so I finished this row. I just need to join to the top of my chain 3 with a slip stitch. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch a row of single crochet all the way around. And we'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and make a chain 1 just to snug that down. And we'll go right in that first chain 3 and stitch a single crochet. Then we'll go in the next 2 double crochets and we'll just stitch a single crochet. And then when we get to the chain 2 space, we're going to stitch 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space. Then we'll stitch 1 single crochet in these next 3 double crochets. And that's going to help that round out so that it looks a little more like a petal and not a point. All right, so now we're to the chain 4 space. And we're going to stitch 4 single crochets, just going right over around that chain. So we stitched 4 single crochets. Then we're going to put a single crochet right in that single crochet. And then we'll stitch 4 single crochets in the next chain 4 space. One, two, three, 4. All right, so this brings us to the next petal. So we'll put a single crochet in those 3 double crochets. We'll put 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space. Then we'll place a single crochet in those 3 double crochets. And now we're back to our chain 4 space. So we'll put 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put a single crochet in the single crochet, and then 4 single crochets in the chain 4 space. And this just gives us a nice edge. It also helps these petals round out a little bit. And we'll continue this on around our flower doily. I finished the single crochet trim all the way around my doily. I'm going to join to the first single crochet, not that chain 1 we added, but the single crochet with a slip stitch. We're going to cut that yarn. And what I do is I go to the back and I pull that loop to the back and I tie off back there. And I think it just gives the edge just a much neater appearance. So now we need to weave that in. So we'll take our needle, we'll just thread that on there, and we'll just weave it in. And you just go through stitches and fibers of the yarn. And I like to go one way. I like to go up a stitch and maybe go back the way I came, and then go up a stitch and do the same thing. And I like to stay within the color of the yarn that I'm using. That way it doesn't show through. And we'll just clip that off. And that's how easy it is to make my flower. I'm calling it the Summer Flower Doily. That's that one. This one I made out of cotton, so you can use cotton. This is the Red Hearts New Smoothie Scrubby Cotton. You can make it look like a daisy. You can make it look like a sunflower, or just some bright colors. It doesn't matter. You can match it to your garden party. They work great for dishcloths, for doilies, depending on what kind of yarn that you make them out of. So have some fun with it.